Alright, so is it pronounced Krampus or Krampus? I don't freaking know, guys. This is gonna be such a pain in the ass. Alright, anyway, we'll figure it out. Go ahead, roll the intro.
Hi, I'm Albert.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Jazz.
Hi, I'm Toby.
Welcome to Gamer State.
Krampus. Alright guys, so Krampus is pretty much the evil embodiment of Santa Claus. That's pretty much what it is. Now, you know how Santa is just like all happy and jolly and pretty much an all-around good guy? Well, Krampus is the total fucking opposite of that, and he's pretty much a douche and likes to punish those who've been bad. That is Krampus. Alright, so now that we've got that over with, let's actually talk about the movie. Alright, so this movie is directed by Michael Daughtry. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he's pretty much the guy who created, or no, well, directed, I should say, Trick or Treat. And Trick or Treat was a pretty awesome movie. If you guys have not seen it, by all means, I recommend you go check it out. So then he comes up with this movie, and I was like, you know what? Maybe, yeah, I'm on board with this. You know, I'll go check it out. And I went to go check it out, and I gotta say, it's pretty cool. So the main so pretty much the main three characters in this movie is Adam Scott, Toni Collette. I think that's how you I think that's how you pronounce her name. And by all means, these are the two pretty much most likable characters in this movie, in a movie that has pretty much a lot of unlikable characters in this movie. The only thing is that even though I think Adam Scott is pretty much the best actor in this movie, he's not the main actor. In fact, it's MJ Anthony who is the main actor. And if you guys don't know about child actors, they're child actors. You can't, they're not always consistent, and you know, you can't get a whole lot from them. So with that being said, even though he was the main star of this movie, he did okay, you know, for a child actor, he did okay. As well, so let's talk about what I did not like about this movie. You know, I felt like it was a bit messy. You know, it was kind of rushed. You know, a lot of things were happening pretty quick, and I felt like once, you know, the shit started hitting the fan, I felt like the family just accepted it almost right off the bat. You know, there wasn't a moment in this movie where I felt like, you know what, everybody should probably pretty much be having a panic attack right now, and that did not happen. You can kind of say that Toni Collette did that for everybody in this movie, but you know, everybody still has to go through that phase. You know, it's not just everybody just skips it and then goes into just straight accepting it. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting characters. Everybody just felt like, you know what, everyone here is a douchebag, and I want them all to die eventually. And in this type of movie, I feel like you cannot have that. You need to have more likable characters. You know, just like how I said in the beginning of this video, like Krampus is the polar opposite of Saint Nicholas. Pretty much, that's what the plot of this movie is. Like, normally you would think, you know, one bad kid, you know, summons Krampus and like it rains down on everybody. Everyone's got to just deal with it. In this movie, it's the total opposite, where a good kid summons Krampus and then everybody's just getting, you know, the punishment for it. I feel like this movie's a bit repetitive. You know, it just seems like they constantly just keep going outside the house and they go back inside the house just to eventually get back outside the house again. It's just like, okay, make up your mind. You want to stay inside or you want to just go? Because you gotta choose one or the other. As well as I felt like this movie focused way too much on the minions of Krampus and not actually Krampus. Because pretty much the majority of the time is spent with the minions. You just see them, you know, just fucking around this family, you know, just taking them one by one until pretty much towards the end of the movie. Then you see pretty much everything. Now, one thing I did like about this movie, and I love that movies should do this more often if they have the capability of doing so, is that this movie, even though it had a little bit of CGI, because you can't just replicate everything, you know, into props, this movie had very little CGI and it had a lot of guys in suits, which I feel make it more real, and the expressions on people's faces were more real because they had something to look at and they didn't have to just use their imagination, and I love that. Even Krampus in this movie is a complete suit, and I felt like, yes, finally, it's just not some bullshit CGI monster I have to look at for the rest of this movie. And I love that. I like how this movie was kind of going for that B horror movie feel, and I like that. I like it sometimes, not all the times, but I like it in this movie, and it felt right. Even though I felt like the costume, or not the costume, more or less the face of Krampus was not as scary. How do I say this to you guys? Okay, pretty much Krampus's face is just like this. He's got his mouth open the whole time, and there's no articulation. It's not because I think they couldn't do that for whatever reason, and it's just open. It's like, I understand this movie was kind of going for that comedy slash horror movie feel, and it kind of almost made me want to giggle just a little bit, but I was also kind of like frustrated, like, come on, you could have done better than that. I like how this movie is pretty much a merger of Halloween and freaking Christmas, man. And in a month of where we just have a lot of, you know, lovey-dovey movies, it is awesome to have around this time of year. Alright, so now I want to talk about just a little bit, like, this movie had some things it decided to take from other movies. Alright, so one of them was The Shining. I feel like the isolation from The Shining, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but this movie has this big ass freaking blizzard just like comes out of the blue pretty much, and has his family trapped inside their house, which is one of the main gripes I have about this movie. But I feel like it reminds me of The Shining in this way. Another thing that I did not notice myself, but my friend noticed it, and in turn made me notice it. I feel like this movie has a bit of that Home Alone feel vibe, where the kid wants his family gone, and that reminded me of the kid in this movie, because that's what happens. I was like, yes, it does kind of remind me of Home Alone a little bit. As well as the house. I kind of had a feeling that the house may be from the movie, but it's not, but I feel like it kind of is. As well as the ending of the movie, which now we're going to get into it. I didn't like the ending itself. I feel like it was tacked on, because once the movie it's going to end, it feels like it just ends right there, and that's a ballsy ass freaking ending to have, and I would have been fine with it. I would have probably enjoyed that the movie ended that way instead, but it just keeps going on and on and on and on. It just feels like, well, you didn't have to go that far, even though I still kind of liked the actual ending of the movie. And now guys, let's finally wrap this whole thing up and let's give this movie a rating. Now, even though this movie has flaws, it still is a fun movie, especially if you want to change things up, around the holidays. Then I feel like this movie is still a pretty good movie to watch, and I highly recommend you go check it out. So, with that being said, I'm gonna give this movie a 8 out of 10. You should go check it out, guys. It's pretty good. Some of you guys might not like it, but it's one of that movie that it's gonna hit with you, and it's probably gonna miss with you as well. And if you guys did go see this movie, by all means, guys, leave it in the comment section below. Tell me, what did you guys think about this movie? And if you guys like this video, by all means, hit that like button, support the channel. And if you guys thought this video completely sucked, then there's a dislike button right there for you to press. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Guys, did go see this movie, by all means, guys, leave it in the comment section below. Tell me, what did you guys think about this movie? And if you guys like this video, by all means, hit that like button, support the channel. And if you guys thought this video completely sucked, then there's a dislike button right there for you to press. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.